Yo, QSC. I'm gonna tell you this real quick. Usually I'm always shouting at a lot of energy, but today we have a little special guest. Well, now we got the hats on. I never had me a nice hat like this. Plus we in a little fancy place. I gotta act a little bougie today, but real quick. Let me introduce my co-host, which is
Latanya, Melanin Shots.
we got a very special guest, and let you introduce yourself.
Smooth goddess.
Ooh, that's smooth. She said smooth too. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, real quick, we're gonna keep it short, sweet, simple to the point. We have some questions for you. You know what I'm saying? Do something a little different. We always post like regular skate content. We want to just get out, just content as far as just interviews, just podcast talk. So you wanna start off?
Well, I do want to start by thanking you for having us come out
Oh
here.
yeah, it was man.
It was a lot. It was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun. This is my first time, so I had a lot of fun. We're at the Italia Hall,
Talia, huh?
Italia Hall in Chicago. It was a lot of fun. All right, so let's get started. So, do you feel like there's competition when it comes to women in the skate community,
Competition, and I guess what area you're referencing to, like
as far as
competing
skating?
against each other?
Yeah.
I think it's your point of view, your mindset, and
Okay.
I feel like if, you're a queen just in general, um, you don't look at life like that.
True.
You in your own lane. I feel like, I think that life is a journey. At one point you kind of start off wanting to be the best skater and all that type of stuff, but then it's phases. You go into like you want to impact, pour into the next generation, and pour into other women. So you look at life in differently. But I think that as you grow, your mindset changes. In life, and you can take it outside of skating. People would like to compete against you and just life in general. But I think that when you look at things differently in life, you don't compete against anybody else but yourself. You try to be the best person you can be and be the best version of you than you were last year. So the only competition you are is yourself.
Right.
And that's kind of how I look at it.
Okay. I like that. That was a good answer.
Ooh,
That was deep.
That's
That was
smooth.
deep.
Nice smooth.
Okay, let's jump to the next question. Have you ever felt like giving up on skating?
I think that I guess when I first started, I've that mindset, but I feel like in life you have purpose, and I think that my purpose in life is to inspire. So I don't give up because the people that look up to you motivate you to keep going. If you give up, the people that look up to you, they're going to quit. So I think that my mission for skating is bigger than how I feel. It's about impacting the world.
I love that. That was great. Okay, that was inspiration. And talking about inspiration, what inspired you to come up with your brand name? And is a hat is the hat a part of your brand too? Because you're always wearing a hat.
The hat is not part of the brand. Inspired by Favorite came about because it's inspired by Favorite of God inspired me to do this. So I feel like if you give me the vision to do it, then you got to give me the provision to complete the task.
Okay.
So I think that inspired me to create the organization, and the people that's a part of it are godly mindset and are a vision of giving and serving. So I think that the people that I'm connected to really doesn't really have to do really with skating. They don't have to be the best skater, but they have a good spirit and they are good people.
That was great. That was deep too. That was a good
Talking
question.
about
Okay. What effect did? Okay, so I know you were at the Super Bowl, which that was awesome. What effect do you think the Super Bowl has on the skating community? Like being on the big screen. Like what? How do you feel like? How do we word that?
So that was big for the skate community. You know, to me, I feel like even though it is mainstream, can I make sure you see me? Okay. But I feel like that was a big for the whole skate community. It could be, you know, JB skating, Snap, any style skating. It was just big for everybody. Seeing all of us all together, especially a lot of Chicago skaters. So, what effect would that do for the future of the skate community? Just that event in general, because now you have Rydell skates that specifically for that event. So, how big
Absolutely.
was that?
I mean, I think it was huge. I think that the event wasn't style based. It was about roller skating, and it included pretty much every style, everybody. You had people from Ohio there. You had people from Chicago, Atlanta, LA. So it covered a lot of bases, and it opened up doors on a different platform, more entertainment. And I feel like, I think that by them being on the Super Bowl, it's going to open up the doors for every city and the impact of skating, and people going to want to learn how to skate and roll and be curious about skating as they were as a kid, you know. So I think that that was huge for the roller skating community, and it's going to open up many doors for us going forth.
Okay. All right. So I see you say this question for me specifically. So I like to ask the juicy question. So
Okay.
you talked about briefly about God, whatnot, how inspired by favor is part of that, whatnot. Now, that's awesome for real. But kind of going to that. So when we talk about a lot of skate music, whatnot, you have JB, James Brown, whatnot. And sometimes you go down south, but actually live down there in Houston, you hear a lot of party music. We'll say keep it PG, not explicit. But you have a lot of that too. Now, my question to you is, why, from your perspective, why don't you think there's more, like, let's say, like Christian music, like per se, or when you go to skating rinks, or something like more, how would I say it, just stuff like that, Kirk Franklin, or something mainstream like that in that community, whatnot. Like, why is that bumped in those type of environments?
I
From your
think back in
perspective.
the day we had those sessions, we had gospel sessions and things, but due to the fact that the rinks are closing, a lot of the different sessions has closed. They had, R&B night and all these different things that they had now, that affects the skate culture when rinks close. So I think that by the rinks are closing all over the world, those gospel sessions that gets infected. I think the only gospel we have in Chicago is the one at the rink Chicago. They have a gospel session there. I don't know exactly what day it is, but I think that's my point of view why it's been affected. When the rinks are affected, everything around it affects it. The community. Because I feel like the rinks are a safe haven. Especially for me growing up, I go to the rink, I'm safe. I'm stressed out, go to the rink, and stress, to relieve stress. So I think that when rinks close, it affects the community heavily.
No,
No skating. I mean, no gospel night. I mean, no rink, no gospel night. So
and like I said, I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. But kind of what you said about the skating, a lot of skating rinks closing down. Now, do you feel like? Because I've seen the United Skates documentary when out. It talked about pretty much how that's a big thing, all across the United States. Rich City, for example, Markham, even though they're still using it, but
right.
it's closed down. But do you feel like that's still a big issue right now?
I
Still.
think it's still a big issue. I think that the people don't pack out the rinks that they used to pack out the rinks when I was coming up. The rink stayed packed Saturday night, midnight rumble. Now you barely can get 200 people in the building, you know, continuously. Not just for a party, but every single session. Packed out house. So
All right. Well. One last question. So how can we get back to that point, so we can start building back from So now we kind of like going down here, but how can we get back up to
I
back
think
here?
that not being selective of our support. I think that you support everyone, every DJ, every coordinator, and I think that that's how we get back. I think right now it's a lot of selective support instead of if you're really true about roller skating, you're not just supporting just a style base, you're supporting roller skating. So I think that when we get back to really what their heart is, roller skating, and not just supporting the style, but support if they're groundwork style, if they roller skating, if they freestyling, if they're JBing, if they artistic skating, whatever you're doing, JB snapping, doesn't matter. I'm supporting the cause because I am part of the community roller skating. I'm a part of a style, but I'm bigger than that. I'm part of roller skating community. And I think that when we look bigger and not so detailed, then we affect the community. Just like the Super Bowl. It wasn't style based, it was roller skating.
Yeah.
And that's how it affected the world.
She ended that so smooth, y'all. I want to ask some more questions, but I know we packing up everything. We got to do a part two maybe one day, but I want to say appreciate the support. I will clap a little better,
Appreciate you.
but I got this in my hand real quick. You know what I'm saying? But I said we appreciate y'all for support. We're still growing. Please check out the footage. I got a lot of heat. Check it on her page. Check it on hers, mine. Please support. I want to say appreciate it. Any last thoughts?
No, I just thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to come out here. Like, I'm gonna be back here next year for sure. Like, I'm excited.
we
We're
here.
gonna have you guys again.
All
I
right.
appreciate.
Third
Okay.
annual.
Yes,
All right,
ma'am.
you-
Look again.
Hey,
All right.
QSC, we out.